Welcome to our Mock Interview Pro video, specially designed for those aiming to become an exceptional trainer. Today, we're diving into some essential questions that will help you ace your trainer interview with confidence. Let's get started with our first question. Can you tell us about a time when you had to explain a complex concept to someone who was having difficulty understanding it? This question is all about understanding your communication skills and your ability to simplify complex information. Here are a few tips on how to approach your answer. Think of a specific example from your past experience. Break down the complex concept clearly and simply. Explain how you noticed the person's struggle. Describe the method you used to make the explanation easier. Share the outcome and how it helped the person. Let's look at a sample answer for inspiration.
In a past role, I needed to explain advanced Excel functions to a new colleague who was overwhelmed by the formulas. I broke it down step by step, using simple language and relatable examples. I demonstrated these functions using data relevant to her, which helped her see their practical application. By the end, she felt confident enough to use the functions independently.
By the way, we're only covering a handful of questions in this video, but I've prepared a free PDF with all 30 top interview questions for trainer. It also includes example answers and tips to help you prepare with confidence. The download link is just below. Describe a situation where you had to mediate a conflict between participants during a training session. This question tests your conflict resolution skills, essential for maintaining a positive training environment. Let's consider some tips on how to respond. Clearly identify the conflict and the participants involved. Outline the steps you took to address the conflict. Explain how you facilitated communication between the parties. Highlight the resolution and its positive impact. Emphasize your role in keeping the training environment positive. Here's an example of how you might answer this question.
During a workshop, two participants disagreed on a topic and began interrupting each other. I paused the session, acknowledged their points, and invited each to share their perspective separately. This allowed them to express their views without further confrontation. Eventually, they found common ground, and the session resumed positively, enhancing group dynamics.
Give an example of a time when you received constructive feedback on your training and how you used it to improve. This question is designed to see how well you accept feedback and apply it for your growth as a trainer. Consider these tips to structure your answer. Select a specific instance of feedback you received. Explain what the feedback was and who it came from. Describe how you implemented the feedback into your training. Share the positive results or changes that occurred after applying the feedback. Keep it concise and focused on your growth as a trainer. Let's take a look at a sample response.
In my last training session, I received feedback from a participant who felt the pacing was too fast. I took that to heart and adjusted my future sessions by slowing down and allowing more time for questions. Since then, I've seen increased engagement and understanding from my trainees.
Imagine you notice your audience losing interest in your session. How would you handle the situation to re-engage them? This question evaluates your ability to adapt and engage an audience effectively. Here are some strategies you can use to tackle this question. Assess the room and look for signs of disengagement. Pause the presentation and directly ask for feedback. Incorporate an interactive element like a question or a quick poll. Use an engaging story or example relevant to your content. Encourage participation by asking the audience to share their experiences. Now, let's review a possible way to answer.
If I see the audience losing interest, I'd pause and ask them what topics they find most relevant. Then I might include a quick poll to gather their thoughts.
You have a participant who is continuously interrupting the session. How would you address this? This question tests your ability to handle difficult participants while maintaining a positive learning environment. Here are some helpful tips to consider for your response. Acknowledge the participants' contributions to show you value their input. Politely ask them to hold their thoughts until the appropriate time. Redirect the conversation to allow others to speak. Set clear ground rules at the beginning of the session about interruptions. Consider following up with the participant after the session if needed. Let's look at an example answer to guide you.
I would first acknowledge the participants' enthusiasm and contributions. Then, I would politely ask them to allow others to finish their thoughts before jumping in. I believe maintaining a respectful balance is crucial for the group.
Before we wrap up, remember you can get all 30 questions, example answers, and step-by-step tips in a handy PDF. Totally free. Just grab it below.